I think we've left it long enough now where we can give an honest opinion on the new Nintendo Switch Sports basketball update. Now, before we start giving our opinions, let me just say one thing about Nintendo Switch Sports. It will always be compared to Wii Sports Resort and Wii Sports. You can't ignore the fact that the two games before this sold well over 120 million copies. On paper, Nintendo Switch Sports as a whole probably is a good game, but I mean, when you're comparing it, which we are, it really isn't good, like, at all. One of the biggest things I really wanted from this game mode is that I wanted to be able to control my player. I wanted to control the player with a Joy-Con. I think that would have made the game 20 times better. I think that was one of the only problems with Wii Sports Resort Basketball, is that you couldn't control your player. It all came down to him kind of moving, him or her moving wherever they wanted. Another big difference is that it's only 2-on-2 now instead of 3-on-3. I think 3-on-3 would have been very difficult to play online. With 3-on-3, you'd need to have 6 players in a game at all times. So with the state that Nintendo Switch Sports is in, they just didn't want to put the pressure on the game. I think it's also really annoying that you can only control one player. To solve all their problems, they could have easily made a 3-on-3 and just let us control the entire team, because then with that you only needed to have 2 people playing. If you were to control 3 players, you can put a lot of strategy into it and you can actually kind of think your way through the game. It's very hard to do that when you're only one person. It makes it very difficult to play as a team because there's no voice chat in Nintendo Switch Sports, so it's a bit of an issue. Another thing they did was they only made the game 100 seconds long compared to the 3 minutes we got in Wii Sports Resort. So I mean, it's nearly cut in half, but I think they did this just for the online aspect so you can kind of play more games. Also with that too, the score only goes up to 12, which is crazy. I don't like that, to be completely honest with you. I prefer the unlimited score where you can absolutely smash your opponents in Wii Sports Resort. But with this, obviously they did it just to stop ass whoopings in online. It's kind of the same with soccer. They have a really low score for soccer so that if you're getting your ass whooped, it stops you from feeling like too bad, you know, that kind of way, because then you might get angry. You know what happens, you just lose your confidence and you're like, frick that, I'm not playing that game ever again, you know. I can see what they're doing, so I don't really want to attack that point. Even 12 is a bit short, man. They could have bumped that up a lot, or else make it 3 minutes, you know what I mean? Now I want to jump into the defensive mode in this. In short, it's really freaking hard to defend in this game. There's not a lot to do with defending. It's very simple. You can swipe the ball off your opponent and you have to also chase them around the court. Why is it hard? It's hard because the offense is just a lot more superior, in my opinion. You have to constantly chase around your opponent who doesn't have the ball. I think that would be brilliant if we could use a Joy-Con, but we can't use a Joy-Con. All you can do is shake the remote, and in my opinion, that's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. So you're literally, you see the player run and you shake the remote to kind of chase after them. From my experience, they always get the ball no matter what. The swiping, I think, is a lot better this time around because you don't fall over. So that's kind of good in that way. You can swipe as many times as you want, but it really comes down to the offense just being a lot better to play. I hate defending in the game. The defending just doesn't work. Another thing I want to look into is the jumping. So obviously, just like Wii Sports Resort, when you're defending a shot, you have to jump up with your hand up in the air like that to try and defend it. I don't know what it is about the Joy-Cons, man. I just feel like the Joy-Cons aren't as responsive as the Motion Plus did. It's just so hard to defend. Like, I'm never able to get there. I've never blocked an opponent. The only opponent I've ever blocked is the bots on easy mode, you know. Besides that, it's just such a struggle, and I just never seem to do it ever. It's hard to defend and it's really easy to score. Like, that's not, they need to balance it just a bit more is what I'm saying. Now this brings me to the offense. It's definitely a lot more fun. First of all, you can shoot from anywhere you want, which is pretty good. You can shoot a lot further back in Switch Sports, which is good. I enjoy that. I think offense just has a bit more of an advantage over defense. Shooting is dumbed down so much, man. It's really easy to score in this game. A lot of the time, all I have to do is quickly get the ball and just shoot straight away before the player is actually coming to defend me. And one small thing I'd like to say, I don't know if this has happened with anyone else, but I've noticed if you don't move at all when you have the ball, the defending players can't do anything about it. They're actually just stuck. They can't swipe. That's a really easy tactic to use in online. You can literally just wait it out and then score when they're not expecting it, you know. Another thing you can do when you're trying to shoot is you can kind of do a bit of a dash movement, so you can kind of move really quickly, you know, going this way or that way. That's kind of the equivalent of swiping the ball and falling. in Wii Sports Resort. Since the defensive players don't fall when they're trying to swipe, it's kind of like, well, how am I supposed to get past them so I can dunk? That's how you do it. You've just a bit of a dash movement and it works fine. I mean, that's literally like the only bit of strategy in this game is like, okay, when will I dash to try and shoot and score, you know? Yeah, slam dunks, they're kind of the same really. They don't feel as satisfying, not gonna lie, but they're still the same. Anyway, this brings me to the online. Well, now let me tell you about this. I've played probably a maximum of 5 games and I just don't want to play it anymore. I just simple as that. I just don't enjoy it. It's just so broken. One of the biggest problems, as I've mentioned already, is that, you know, you're playing with someone else and you can't talk to each other. So there's absolutely zero strategy going on here. Mostly what happens is whoever starts off serving just shoots straight away. They give you the first game so you kind of get into it. What the f was that? What are we playing, man? Is this the actual game we're playing? Give me the ball this time. Pass it. Pass the fucking ball, you little... God, what are you doing, man? Now, that can be broken if you're really good at the game. The defensive player can't even get you on time, so you can shoot all you want. But it gets annoying when you can't talk to them and they just constantly keep doing that and they keep missing. And it's just like, man, this game is rubbish. If this is how people are playing, it's just so bad. No communication and your teammates are just asses half of the time. Also, with what I've played, teammates never pass the ball, like ever. Like, it's so rare that they pass you the ball, you know? And that's like, okay, you may look at it and be like, but yeah, but that's not on the game, that's on the players. It's not on the players, man. That's on the game. There should be a mechanic where you need to pass it or something like that. Last thing I want to say about the online as well is if one of the 4 players leaves the game just ends. That's it. I don't know if that happens with all the other games too. I've never really experienced it before. One player left and the whole game had to shut down. I don't know if there's anything they can do about that. I mean, in this day and age, I really hope there is. Brings me back to Call of Duty on the Xbox 360. If the host leaves the game, the whole game has to pause for like a few minutes to sort that out. When you're comparing it to Wii Sports Resort, which it rightly has to be because it's the next game in the series, it's the exact same as, like, you know, movie franchises. You can't expect to make Godfather 3 and have it not be compared to Godfather 1 or Godfather 2. You know, that's not how it works. It will always be compared to those movies. And in my opinion, it's just not worth it. Basketball is just not good. It's just not a good game. Last thing I'll say, the 3-point challenge. This was probably one of the worst changes they've ever made. As I've said, the shooting is hugely dumbed down. It's really easy to get a perfect game. On my first try, I got 27. You can probably get a perfect game within 3 tries. Now, comparing that to Wii Sports Resort, it was near impossible to get a perfect game. And I think that had a challenge to it. That was good. It brought a bit of personality to the game. If you get a perfect game, you get an achievement for it. This is just rubbish. It's just like you get a perfect game and that's it really. You can barely show your records off online anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's hard to be this negative. I like Nintendo Switch Sports. I like playing it, but it's just really annoying that it just never lived up to Wii Sports Resort and they just keep failing. They can just never do it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, really hope you enjoyed. Give me your thoughts. Let me know. Do you like basketball? I think it's a pretty good topic to talk about. Please like and subscribe. Have a good day. Goodbye.